I'm Kiera Morgan. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Coffee with Kiera, sponsored by The Human Being in Newport and Lincoln City. And today I'm with Dr. Lesley Ogden. We're excited to be here at Samaritan North Lincoln Hospital. And there is so much going on with the hospitals. It's been about a year since we've given an update.
Right.
So, Dr. Ogden, let's talk a little bit about some of the new things that have been going on.
Yes, we have had, oh my goodness, so much go on. I think last time we talked, we were building a new pharmacy.
Yes.
Here at North Lincoln.
Open.
Right. And that has been open now over a year. And it has done so well. It was exactly what everyone needed, to have more pharmacy resources in this area. And so we'll be doing the same thing in Newport very shortly. We just, as you may have heard, got word that Safeway in Newport is closing in June, and that pharmacy will leave as well. And so we're watching that whole pharmacy desert thing play out again in another part of our county. So we're scrambling as fast as we can, and we have a piece of property that's owned by the Pacific Communities Health District that owns the hospital and the land underneath it. And so they have a small piece of property that sits between the Bayview building and Avamere behind the hospital.
Okay.
And that is the future home of a new pharmacy for Newport. It'll have a drive-through.
I was just going to ask if it have the same features.
Yeah, same features. It's so important for accessibility, especially for people who maybe have mobility issues, to be able to access their medications, in a drive-through format. So we'll definitely have that. The city's been working with us on how we would most orderly get people onto, because it's a thin, long piece of property. So we'll utilize that whole piece of property for that drive-through. Basically have people loop around and come out facing the hospital as they exit. Yeah.
Well, and this is going to be a real benefit for those who are in the southern part of the county as well.
Right.
So, like you mentioned, I think the pharmacies we have right now, we have Walmart, Fred Meyer, and Walgreens right now. But if you live in South Beach or Seal Rock or...
Right. There is high school pharmacy.
I was going to say, I think there's one in Waldport.
Right. And they serve Waldport and that south area very well, but just the volume that we need in the Newport region, we definitely need another pharmacy.
Well, and what's really impressed me about the pharmacy when it opened, because I was there for the grand opening and the ribbon cutting, which was real exciting. I'm looking forward to that in Newport as well.
Exactly.
Is how easy it was to transfer your medications to the new pharmacy.
Right. It's just a quick phone call or just letting your provider know, because most prescriptions travel electronically now. And so you just do a little switcheroony and we can make it happen really fast.
Yes. So that's exciting. And when is the anticipated start of that project?
Well, what we had tried, what we were thinking before, because we did know that Rite Aid, had exited. We were planning on doing the planning and construction this year and opening it on January 1st. But when we got word about Safeway shutting, in mid-year, we said, can we speed that up? So we don't have an exact date right now. We are getting a custom manufactured building built to our specifications to sort of speed things along even faster. Awesome. But we're thinking like the earliest we can probably make this happen is like an October, November timeframe. But we'll keep you updated. And if we can do it faster, we will. We absolutely will. And we're trying even now. I believe today might be the magic day when we start having some of those jobs open because we'd like to make sure that anybody who's displaced by some of these pharmacy closures has the opportunity to move to our new pharmacy, even well ahead of time, because we can train them at other locations.
That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And the hospital is very forward thinking that way for our communities and for Lincoln County. And I think that's really appreciated, that you seem to look ahead and say, okay, where are the needs? How can we fill the gaps?
Right.
For housing, for instance.
Yes, and housing is another, oh my goodness. I think we've talked about it before, that I said, oh my God, I never thought I would have to think about housing as a healthcare, executive and as an employer. In Lincoln County, but it is something you have to think about. So we actually have 2 housing projects going on, one in Lincoln City and one in Newport. So let me start with the Lincoln City one, because it's sort of the most innovative.
It is so awesome. Sorry, I'm so excited. I know a little bit about this project, and I'm so excited about it.
Yes, and we are too, because I just have been looking for years, ever since we worked with the health district to have an asset exchange where they turned over the land and the existing buildings of the old hospital to Samaritan in exchange for building the new hospital, the new beautiful hospital that we have. Well, along with it came some residential lots. And we have been ever since then, since the mid-2010s, thinking, what are we going to do with these residential lots? They're not contiguous with the hospital campus. They sit behind and towards the lake from Lakeview Senior Living. And so what do you do with that? So we had talked with various nonprofit builders through the years. It's a flat piece of property, so it was very attractive. And it's actually 6 contiguous lots, so you could make it a little bit bigger than individual style lots. But we just never could click and make it all happen because there's not a lot of nonprofit builders, and they're even struggling
very much
as well. So what we actually finally came to was a very innovative workforce housing arrangement with Habitat for Humanity. And you might say, what are you even talking about? What is this coming out of your mouth, like workforce housing and Habitat for Humanity? Because typically they specialize in low-income housing and putting people who otherwise may not ever be able to own a home in a home. Well, we took that same premise, and Lucinda and I, the executive director, worked together and said, can we do something along those same lines, but for our employees, the people who are least likely to be able to own a home, our entry-level workforce? Can we set up some of the same types of things? We looked at the land. We said, wow, this land will support anywhere between 9 single-family homes on it, or if we can get enough money and design it just right, up to 17 units if it's designed sort of in a townhome style. And can we put some deed restrictions on that land to have Samaritan employees have a right of first refusal? And then if there's not a Samaritan employee that qualifies and is interested, then it just becomes great housing for anybody else who qualifies along the same guidelines. So yay. We are so excited, because 9 to 17, somewhere in there, that's real. That's some real inventory that we'll be adding to the homes in this area. And then we really hope that this is a way to get, it's a recruiting effort almost, to get entry-level employees who might have that home.
That's what I want to emphasize, that it's entry-level employees. It's not the the high-end doctor,
No, they're not going to qualify.
I mean, we need them and want them too.
Right, absolutely.
But these are the folks that are, the receptionists and, the folks that
right, our
work
nutrition workers, our EVS workers,
yes.
our medical assistants, just tons of people in those entry-level positions that otherwise are struggling to find affordable housing and might not ever be a homeowner. We're really hoping this changes their trajectory.
And what an example, leadership example for other areas and other hospitals.
Right, because other industry, any type, could partner with humanity, Habitat for Humanity, in the same way. This could be a replicable model that we could do all over this county, all over Oregon, all over the nation, even. And so, we hope that this will inspire other people who maybe have some land, who maybe, could set up the same sort of program. Yeah,
that's phenomenal. And economic development, it's crucial. You have, for economic development and moving forward, you've got to have housing, you've got to have healthcare, you've got to have childcare. Right. It's that three-legged stool that really helps to keep the county stable.
Right, and we have all of that now. Once we have that housing built, we'll have it within a 3-block radius, and we hope it'll really be inspiring for our entry-level workers to come and preferentially work for us. And this is the other thing we did was we made sure that any Samaritan coastal employee could qualify that meets the income criteria, as outlined. So, how people travel along the coast, right? That people might live in Toledo and work in Lincoln City, or they may, live in Waldport and commute to Newport. All of this is true. And so we did not want to say, you must live in Lincoln City. So really, this is sort of the right of first refusal for all of our Samaritan coastal employees to have housing opportunities.
And you're also working on some housing opportunities in Newport also?
Yes, in conjunction with the fabulous Pacific Communities Health District, again, who owns that land. They bought an older home that was sort of derelict and condemned, that was across the street from the hospital on Abbey Street. They bought that land years ago and cleared that house. So it was just an empty lot sitting there. We have started, for those people who don't know, a family medicine residency training program. So we take doctors who are just graduated from medical school and we train them in family medicine. It's a 3-year program. And so when they finish, they are trained in rural family medicine right here with us. And we hope that means they'll stay with us, right? There's a whole plan there. But we have run into problems with finding housing for them. And there are 3 of them every year that go through this program. So 6 at the time, because it's a 3-year program. The first year they'll spend in Corvallis or Portland or some, higher volume areas. But those last 2 years, they're solidly with us in Lincoln County. Okay. And so we need housing for 6 doctors that we never anticipated needing housing for. And they're also, because they're not attending physicians, because they don't have their specialty certifications yet, they are still paid training wages. And so they need some help, basically finding good housing and stable housing. So the Pacific Communities Health District, in conjunction with Capri Architecture and Kaufman Construction, now our partners, designed and are now building a 6-unit apartment complex for those very early in their career physicians that don't have permanent jobs, that are still in their training and really need housing.
And again, what a great example to other hospitals and other areas, a good show of leadership. And the coast area, especially in small rural areas, as is often in great need of those types of doctors. So,
absolutely. We're hoping the health district and Samaritan, we are crossing our fingers and really saying, well, we started this training program. We are setting up housing. We are trying, just with arms out and embrace all of these young doctors who are coming through and doing their training. Please stay with us. Please do your training here and stay with us. And we know by the percentages of how doctors normally stay around their training program, about 65% actually end up staying right in the local area where they trained. So we're hoping that this holds true for us as well. And we have signed our first physician. We graduated our first year and signed our first physician. So we're on the right track.
That's so phenomenal. Thank you for that incredible leadership. And we mentioned childcare.
Mm-hmm.
Samaritan does have the childcare center here in
the
North
Early
County.
Learning Center. Yes.
So, is there any, given the issues of childcare throughout Lincoln County, is there any possibility of expanding that, or maybe working with some other nonprofits or partners to expand that to the southern end of the county, to Samaritan Pacific area?
Yeah, we've looked at it. Unfortunately, it is a mission-driven sort of enterprise. It loses hundreds of thousands of dollars every year because we do care for up to 90 kids. And that is infants all the way up to 8 to 10-year-olds. We have looked at even potential partners on the national spectrum. We've looked at local partners. This really worked because of a partnership with the city and the foundation, and we continue to get support from the foundation for things like scholarships for kids who otherwise their parents could not afford this level of education, because it really is an early learning center. It's not just daycare. So we haven't found that model that's replicable for us, but we continue to look. And we have put a lot of effort into it. So I'm hopeful that one of these days we will figure out how to make that extendable to other markets, because we would love to. Especially we have pockets of areas within our Tri-County region that while we see the birth rate going down overall, they do have childcare needs, and they're more acute in certain areas than others. So we would love to.
And again, it's drawing families not just to work at Samaritan, but throughout Lincoln County. It's hard to bring people here for a job,
right?
Without proper childcare and support. So
absolutely. So cross your fingers that we can discover the magic that might make that work. And I think what we've come to the knowledge of is it's going to take partnerships with others in the community to make that work.
To get the housing going and everything else. And if there's anything we're known for in Lincoln County, it's
partnerships.
Finding a solution through partnerships.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. We are. That is what we are known for.
All right. Dr. Ogden, what else is going on? Anything else you want to give some updates on?
I think that those are the highlights. That's enough right now, right? Exactly. Yeah. We are, as you know, affiliating with Multicare. We are in a review process right now with the state, and Multicare is a 13 hospital. Let me say, it's a little bit more than 13 bed, 13 hospital nonprofit hospital system from Washington State. And so they're like us, they're locally minded and invested in community. And so it's really just Samaritan getting a little bit bigger.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we hope that makes us much more sustainable in the long term and solidly affix to our communities as we know that we'll be seeing lots of changes in healthcare, especially on the Medicaid side of things in the future.
All right. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. I'm so
Yes.
excited for all the wonderful things that you're doing and appreciate it so much. And I know our Lincoln County citizens do too, and support our local hospitals. So thank you so much for joining me on Coffee with
Thank
Kiera.
you.
We are sponsored by The Human Bean in Newport at 6th Street and Highway 101. Here in Lincoln City, they're located at the north end of the highway on the west side next to TLC Credit Union. Thanks for joining me on Coffee with Kiera. I'm Kiera Morgan.